Ministry, found online at carm.org. When you have questions about Bible doctrines, turn to Matt Slick Live for answers. Taking your calls and responding to your questions at 877-207-2276. Here's Matt Slick.
All right, everybody, welcome to the show. Now, you may notice my voice is pretty bad right now. It just in the past 10 minutes started going really bad. So what they're going to do is they're going to put on a new show, an old show here in a little while. But in the meantime, I figured what we could do is if you got a quick call or get a quick comment or something, you can give me a call and we can talk. And my voice is starting to go, hey, it happens. You know, it's what it is. And maybe Charlie Spine, my buddy, can call in real fast, get on the air, and we can talk about something. Because he and I are the ones who did the Swap Meet Ministry back so many years ago. And we did so many things where the Lord was working in us and through us. And we were back in 80, 81, 82 out there doing swap meets. Now, what I'm hoping is that when we get the show going, okay, they're almost ready. So I'll probably be on for another 5 or 10 minutes, and then I got to bail. I'm almost whispering right now because of my voice. So, hey, you know what? You guys can pray for me if you want. Appreciate that. It's not a big deal. We all get that kind of thing. And I went and saw a doctor yesterday. He just kind of smiled, goes, yeah, it happens. No big deal. And but now it's going. And I was just on AB and Sat TV. And they are the Aramaic Broadcasting Network. So I was on there for an hour, and I wasn't talking very much. Was on with Tony Costa, and excuse me, he's a Canadian apologist. We were talking about the hell of Islam, and so we were just talking. And in the past, like I said, 10 or 15 minutes, my voice started to tank, and that's okay. You know, that kind of thing happens. Not a big deal. So. Yeah, people are praying for me. Thanks, Jessica. I appreciate that. And just want to say thank you. Let's see. We're going to get, I think Charlie's on right now. And then what we'll do is I'll have him do some talking because my voice is basically gone and I'm having trouble. So let's just get to Charlie. Hey, Charlie, buddy. You there, man?
Yeah, I'm here.
All right. Let me introduce you. Folks, this is Charlie, and I've known him for... I guess, 35, 40 years. And why don't you tell people what it was you said to me that you read that caused me to become an apologist? Remember that?
Oh, I do remember that. I had read you a quote from the founder of the LDS Church, Mormon Church, Joseph Smith. He had posted, and I'm posting it in the chat for those that are online with us. I'm posting the link to it. He had written, or he had posted that he had done more than anyone, even Jesus Christ, to keep a whole church together. And when you read that from the History of the Church, a publication that I'd gotten at the Deseret Bookstore, which is the LDS bookstore, you said, well, who the heck is that posting like that? And I said, well, that's... of Mormonism. You go, Mormonism? I thought they were Christian. And I said, well, read that again. And he took it from my hand and you read it. And you go, wait a minute, this isn't right. And so you became hardly charged with the idea that someone could boast in such a fashion.
Yeah.
And then it was just an indication of a counterfeit that we find today. I was out of town yesterday, didn't hear your show, caught at the end of it. You were talking about the counterfeit Christ that have gone out and false gospels and false spirits. And when we look at some of these aberrant movements that try to associate with Christianity, you're exactly right. They're counterfeits, and the counterfeit tries to dress itself up as much like the real thing as possible. But on closer examination, there's a dead giveaway many times on some of the central doctrines of what they're teaching. But they indeed try to look attractive.
Right.
Unfortunately, that attraction sometimes causes people to get caught up in the web.
Right. You know, one of the things that I remember, and I don't know if you remember, I've told you this before, but we met on I think it was a Friday, and our first time we ever met, you read me that quote, and it got me so upset that I, snatched out of your hand, I crumpled it up, I was angry, and I said, where are you learning this stuff? And you told me, Jerry and Marion Bodine, who worked with Walter Martin at the Christian Research Institute, and they were teaching a Bible study. And I said, well, I'm going. And and then I remember we exchanged phone numbers, and you said the class was, I think, on Tuesday night. And so the next day when I, woke up, I wasn't going to go to the class. Like, whatever, no big deal. And Sunday, I wasn't going to go to the class. And Monday, I wasn't going to go. And Tuesday, I wasn't going to go. And you called me up. Hey, you ready to go? And I just said, yes. And I still remember that. I still remember that I didn't want to do it.
You told me later that
you just did.
Yeah, you told me later you didn't really have any serious intention of going, but when we did go and we got together with Jerry and Marion Botein, and we just barely knew each other at all, really.
Yeah.
I just knew you were a guy that wanted to please the Lord, and I was like-minded, and that's what drew us together. And we had the benefit of some very seasoned saints in faith with Jerry and Marion teaching us. They had rotating classes that would go from witnessing to Mormons to witnessing to Jehovah's Witnesses. At the end of each course, they would just start the other one over, so you could join at any time and catch up eventually with all the materials. And of course, the materials were very
they were great,
well documented. Jerry would do the documentation. In fact, some of the people that we dealt with from those movements accused us of making up Jehovah's Witness or anti-Mormon material. And we said, well, wait a minute, these are photocopies of publications from your church, or in the case of the Jehovah's Witnesses, from the Watchtower organization. We didn't make this up. I'm glad you're upset about anyone printing this kind of stuff, but we sure didn't make it up. And your concern is well founded, just like ours is.
Right.
And hopefully you'll see that it's an important issue to look into in regards to your faith. And so some of the people that were hostile to us in the beginning began warming up to us when they saw that we weren't making this stuff up, and our answers were coming from Scripture as best as we could supply them. And that's exactly what the Lord wanted us to do. And He's taken us on a wild ride in these last 4 years, 2 years. Yeah, indeed.
That's right. I remember the first time you and I went witnessing, and we stopped on Omega Street, and we'd never witnessed before. And there was a guy having a heart attack of some sort, and his name was Harry Wolf. And we were going to go to one of these doors.
That's right.
And I remember that the ambulance came out.
First door we knocked on.
Yeah, it was this weird stuff. Yeah. So this ambulance came in, the paramedics came in, and fire engine came in, on the Saturday morning, and they took this guy away. So what happens on a Saturday morning when all the sirens and everything are there? Well, the crowd comes out, and so we're standing. I still remember it. We're standing there, and we usually have our Bibles, and this crowd is around us, and they kind of look at us because, like, what are we doing there? And then this kid goes, what are you guys doing? And I looked at you and I said, tell them. So I passed the buck to you. That's right.
Yeah, that very door we knocked on, and we had just prayed, Lord, I hope someone you can provide for us to talk to. And there's a crowd all of a sudden.
Yeah.
It was amazing. It was amazing. Like I said, we had to hang on for dear life. The Lord really came around and answered our prayers in ways that we hadn't expected right from the start.
That's right.
Providing us people to talk to, and He even provided some opportunities to make knuckleheads of ourselves, which we learned through that too.
Oh yeah, we made a lot of mistakes. But we went to the swap meet. Remember that?
Finally got you to. Yeah.
Oh yeah, we did the swap meet for.
You steered me away from when you first knocked on the door. When I.
Oh yeah.
I was going to mention that you the first thing you did when you apologized to a lady, the nice lady that opened the door.
Yeah.
Here we are, on a weekend in the morning. Bothering someone unexpected, and she opens the door, and you told her, "Well, hi, we're not Jehovah's Witnesses."
We're Christians.
Looked at you and said, "Well, I am," and slammed the door in our face.
Yeah, I remember my first witnessing encounter.
Yeah, and the swap meet was. Yeah, but also on that very same morning, night, I made the mistake of thinking you were speaking in tongues because I didn't know you, and we came upon a Spanish-speaking woman, and you started speaking Spanish, and I had no idea that you knew anything like that. I thought, wow, this guy's really got it. he's given the gospel. I, not even knowing Spanish, I could tell you were conversing well, or well enough. She understood, and she seemed pleased. And I thought, wow, thank you, Lord. You know, this is more than I ever expected.
Yeah, I remember
and then
that.
later, you told me you'd had some and then it kind of came back to you pretty good, too. But yeah, experiences like that, and you mentioned the swap meet, that was the marketplace right there where we met every kind of person you'd want to ever imagine, both some that were warm to the idea of evangelism, and some that were cold to the idea, and some that were absolutely hostile. The Lord all those experiences for us to learn that whether they're hostile or not, even some of the most difficult ones, they're image bearers of God, and they deserve our concern and our respect in our efforts to share the gospel with them. And the rest is up to the Lord.
Yeah, we had a lot of experiences out there to swap meet. A lot of people don't think that that's much of a ministry, but we did it for a long time, and it was very fortuitous. You know, I remember giving the gospel so many times to so many people, and that's where basically we kind of cut our teeth, was learning how to answer questions. We'd be out there each Saturday for, did it for 2.5 years, and having to answer questions. It would be, it just became a thing where we would study the rest of the week and go out and meet people again, and I loved it. It was just something to do. And I want to recommend it to people. If you ever are concerned about wanting to witness, you're not sure you have the ability, well, you do. You just go. I have a saying, trust and go. When you trust and go, God is the one who provides and He gives you answers. And I can tell you that there'll be countless times I'd be out there at the swap meet and other places, witnessing on piers, whatever it is. Someone would ask me a question. And I still remember this very clearly. I told my wife this many, many times. I said, they would ask me a question. I didn't know what I was going to say while they're asking me the question. And then as soon as they're done with the question, the answer was in my head. It happened so often that I wouldn't even worry about what I was going to say anymore. They would just come to me. And, I think it was just God being faithful. And I know that happened with you as well. And we'd talk about it, and say, man, I didn't even know I knew that. And it's just the work of God.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we got to take chances for Christ.
We learned that use some humility, too. When we had one kid about 8 or 10 years old that was, he found out that the tracts we were giving away were free, and so he kept coming back to get some. Can I have more? And, and we noticed the ones he was taking had to do with, what.
Well, we lost you. We lost your sound.
Oh,
there you go. You're back.
Pornography tract for, and we're thinking, I don't know, maybe he's making paper airplanes or something.
He was we got to go, but he was putting them in magazines. He wasn't even looking while he was doing it. Hey, that's Charlie, we got to get going. And folks, we're done after this break, okay? So they're going to put on an old show. So just, thanks. Please play for my voice. Then get it back. And maybe we'll be on by tomorrow. Who knows? God bless everybody. Have a great time. We'll talk to you later. See you. Bye.